I remember a spell we had where we played Forest and got battered at their place 4, and then we went to Queen's Park Rangers. I think we got done 5, or it might have been the other way around, Forest 5, QPR 4, in the space of 2 games. And poor Andy Dibble, who was in goal, he got the blame for that, which it wasn't him. We were just awful in the 2 games. We just fell to bits for whatever reason.
I remember coming in the dressing room at half time when we were getting battered, and Robbo just said, just go out and make sure we score goals. Don't matter if we get beat 6-2, make sure we score. And we didn't even get to score a goal in the end because it didn't go on goal difference.
I remember the QPR game. I didn't play that well on the night. I remember that game. It was kind of, there were big games for us at the time, and you're thinking, and it's not even, we were well beaten. So I think that's the biggest thing, where you're well beaten and you think you know where you're going to go. But I think we had enough experience in there to kind of be ready to bounce back, and there's no doubt you have doubts. There's no doubt about it. Everybody does. If they tell you they don't, I would say they're probably lying.
And you always need people who are like, listen, don't worry about this. That's gone. You can't affect what's gone. You just have to crack on and deal with whatever comes next. And I think we sort of refocused after that, and managed to get ourselves back playing good stuff. And I think really that was the only blip we had throughout the season. We'd lost a couple of games, but I think we'd for the vast majority of the season we were always up there, thereabouts, first, second, third. It wasn't a season where we were struggling and had to come with a good run. We were always in amongst it.
I would say there's no doubt when that happens. If you get a 5-0 or 4-0, it's not rocket science, is it? And it's not down to the manager. It's down to the players when something like that happens. For me, welcome to the roller coaster that is the Championship. It's like literally so many highs and lows, and it's Saturday, Tuesday. But those 2 results really hurt. But again, I think we had enough experience in the dressing room to not get too low. We just sprinkling of younger players, but I think we had a real strong spine.
Talks around. Will we now? Will we get promoted finally? Are Boro now totally losing it? But I remember we got back on track pretty quickly again.
I think back then, the players took it on themselves to try and sort things out. We had team meetings, and the manager didn't even know about them. We got together, we ironed a few things out, but we knew in the dressing room it was a good dressing room. Everyone demanded off each other. And after them 2 results that you just mentioned, we had to go out and we had to get results, because that season, if we didn't get promoted, it would have been a travesty. It would have been so disappointing. But we stuck together, we worked hard, and we got on a run, and we just kept on winning games.
We got back on track to where we wanted to be, and it paid off in the end. So it's something that I'm sure all teams do in the dressing rooms, and experienced pros have the opportunity to speak to younger pros. I think it's invaluable sometimes, and we did that quite successfully.
You don't lose your ability, you lose your form. We still have the ability to win every game that we played in, and maybe sometimes you need the gauntlet to be thrown down to you. It's a game you have to win, and whatever way you do it, you've got to.
Get on a run in this league and you're in a good team, it's not the hardest league in the world.
The next game against Swindon, we wanted to win 6-0. It was a funny feeling in the dressing room, and I think it was my first start, to be honest, that game. It was just a funny feeling that everyone was talking about. You win 6, you go on top, win 6, you go. And that's all you heard all day in the build-up to the game.
We had to win 6-0. Everyone was putting bets on for us to win 6-0, and the fans. And it was a memorable game. We went out there, and after that first goal, I think it was Branca scored the first. Then I get one, Alun Armstrong gets one. I think we got a brace each, the 3 of us.
And during the game, it felt it was going to come. It didn't matter. It was going to be 6-0. It didn't matter. And I think Maddison scored an unbelievable volley. Branca scored an unbelievable overhead kick. And I managed to nick a couple of goals, and I think I set 3 up that day as well. So I had a decent debut to say the least. And I say from that day, that's when I thought we'd get promoted, because we knew we had in the squad what was required to get the job done.
6-0 came, and it was everyone talks to me about that game. All the Boro fans remember that game, and it was a good game to play in, I must admit. And to score 2 goals, and the second one was probably one of the best goals I've scored.
first attempt.
One of the best days of my life. Not just the day itself, but leading up, going to the hotel, and also as well as a player, you're sort of wondering, are you going to be in that starting lineup? And I was scoring goals. I was doing really well. I was a regular in the team, and I sort of felt to myself I was going to be starting. And then we went down to London. I remember going down to London and staying in a hotel and training down there for 3 or 4 days, and leading up to the game, the manager, announced the team to us, and, Robbo, and I knew it was starting. Then Armani came in with the sunglasses and put all the sunglasses on the table, and the lads were choosing the glasses, It was just surreal.
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm the type of person who I've watched every cup final from when I remember, I used to watch it all day long. Never dreamt I would get to Wembley in the cup final. We managed to get there 3 times in the space of 2 seasons, so it was a bit surreal.
I'll never forget, we went on the coach and we drove down to Wembley, and we're about 3 miles away from Wembley, and I'm looking around and there's no one there. I expected to see red and white and blue and white as it was Chelsea. No one there. And then we get about a mile from Wembley, little pots of people in blue and red. And then we get into Wembley Way, and I'll never forget it. It was one of the best moments of being a footballer. We had literally 10,000 Boro fans waiting for us to go down Wembley Way on the coach, all banging on the coach, and an unbelievable experience. And then you get into that changing room, you walk out, you sample it all. We got there an hour and 45 before kick-off, so you had that chance to sample everything, walk onto the pitch.
Building up to the final, everyone talked about what it is to play at Wembley. Apparently they said it's always good weather for some reason. The weather is always fantastic, and it's true. It was fantastic every time we played there. It's so hot in there. I remember for the first time probably ever feeling really nervous for that first game, because it was like that big. During the warm up, you were even getting to grips of being there. Basically, I mean, what's going on. But when the game started, of course, you didn't think so much about that anymore. And it was a game as anything.
You get in that tunnel as you're walking out, and the old Wembley, it was a good 2 or 3 minutes walk to where you want to go to the touchline. And that walk will live me for the rest of my life, because just seeing red and then blue and then the fireworks going off and the noise it's why you're a footballer. Them moments, that'll live with me forever, because it was just a special moment. Obviously the result, 0-0 full time, got beat 2-0 extra time, but the day itself was such a memorable day, and one I'll never forget.
Disappointing, like I said before, that we didn't actually win a trophy. But as an experience, as some players don't get to Wembley in a cup final, so for me to get there 3 times in the space of 2 seasons was brilliant for me.
The first one we should have won. We are 1-0 up, and I think it's Emil Heskey who equalizes in extra time, and it was really, really unlucky. We should have won that game. I think we played well there, and just got a bit tired maybe towards the end of the game, but we were the better team. We should have won it. The other 2 against Chelsea we were not good enough on the day. And the second game the same. That cup final, the third cup final was basically we turned up and they were just better than us.
For again a championship team to go all the way to the cup final, it was disappointing. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I'm glad it wasn't the FA Cup, because it would have been at the end of the season. It was in the middle of the season, so straight away we're back into league action.
That was my first sending off for my whole career. Was it Lee Bradbury, I think, who was hit the floor like a ton of bricks?
And I just think the final whistle was quite emotional, as I said to you, because at the start of that season I was so hurting.
6 games to go, Brian Robson called me into his office. He said, go on holiday for 2 weeks. Go on holiday, recharge your batteries, get ready for the playoffs. And I was like, no, we've still got a chance. We've got a chance.
But English people stay in the pub all the time, even in New York. But me and Blanca, we went around to see the city.